Playa versus Zen. I'm very unfamiliar with both of these players. I have no idea who they are, never heard of them, but they've made it this far, which is an achievement. And they are GMs. GG, easy clap. Ay, ay, ay. Congratulations again, Skylar. Shout out to Skylar. I believe he's streaming his POV. We may just raid him after our cast. But speaking of, we have found ourselves in this PvP between these two American players. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the American Protoss. He's purple. He is Zen. Really, he's Nero in disguise. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide, we have the American Protoss as well. He is red, representing Team Social S? Question mark? Social Send. It is Playa. Now, this isn't a fresh series. We are tied. We're currently 1-0. I'm not 100% sure who is up in this series. It may be Zen. It may be Playa. I'm just gonna keep it at 0-0 for now, just to, you know, avoid any confusion. Rotterdam was kind enough to let me know what the score was, but at the same time I was setting up the casting tool and I don't recall. I straight up don't recall. Oh boy. But this is game 2. Someone is up in this series and we are in a PvP, so I'm really curious to see how this plays out. We haven't been able to cast any PvPs today. We were able to cast a Protoss in Ryan, but no PvPs. No NA PvPs, and I'm honestly surprised that we don't have any proxies. What's going on, mate? What's going on, you guys? What's happening? Do you not know where you are? You're in NA, mate. So we do have a bit of a difference between these two players. We do have Playa opening up with a low ground pylon and low ground gateway and cyber core. This is for a more economic opener. It does secure your natural base a little bit faster, a little bit safer. Meanwhile, Zen opted to go for his buildings in his main, not even up on the ramp. Interesting. Usually you have your initial buildings here on top of the ramp to be able to wall off and SimCity and deny shades. But Zen went for nothing of the sort, and now Playa comes in with a zealot. Let's see if he can get any damage. Oh my god, forces all the boys off the line. Oh my god. Almost gets a probe. Solid probe micro, doesn't lose a single one. Nicely done there. Meanwhile, we have a bunch of probes out here in the middle of the map. As they do come back home to mine. This Adept by Playa can deal a lot of damage, again, because there's nothing here on the ramp to stop the Adept, so I'm a little bit concerned for Zen. Meanwhile, Zen pylon blocking the natural base of Playa. Nicely done. Really punishing his greed. And delaying that natural for as long as possible. Meanwhile, Zen just takes his natural at the unnatural location at the third base. And the Adept does shade in, but I guess because Zen took this into account, instead of going for a wall, he has a shield battery, which means that his probes are safe for now. They're safe until 2 Adepts show up, and then with 2 Adepts you can start one-shotting. Speaking of one-shotting, Playa did open up with the Stargate. We do have the Oracle showing up here across the map. Ooh, focusing down. Never mind. I thought he was going to go for the Stalker. Throws down a Stasis Ward, but it does get triggered by only 1 probe. Nice. Again, really nice reaction so far by Zen. He's just been on point with his base defense. I'm very impressed. And Zen just hasn't been able to deal any damage at all. Does get forced away and also gets forced to expand here at the third base location. Oof. Solid oof there, mate. Meanwhile, the Void Ray does show up to take down this pylon. We actually have 2 Void Rays on the way. Interesting decision by Zen going for this Void Ray style. I also just realized he has not gone for Warp Gate. Warp Gate has not been researched. That's crazy. I'm just trying to comprehend what I just said. There's no Warp Gate, people. He's just going straight up Stargate and Robo. Does he realize he doesn't have Warp Gate? Does he know this? Is he going to go like Skytoss Immortal? We do have a Stalker on the way. We do have a couple of gateway units coming out here for Playa. Okay. I guess this is happening. Meanwhile, we have 3 gates. We're gonna have 5 gates in total. For Zen, he's gonna be going for this Stalker push. Blink Stalker, I should say, as Blink did just finish up. And yeah, we have Immortals coming out for Playa. Is this Shakti in disguise? Because that's what it's looking like. So Immortals, Phoenixes, and Void Rays are gonna be defending here. Still no gate, still no warp gate. My god. We'll see if this works. He does go across the map and scout with a Phoenix, a real Phoenix, not a hallucination, because he doesn't have any sentries. And he does see all the gateways, so he should know he needs to defend. He needs to set up some shield batteries. He already has a stasis ward set up. He has a decent amount of Void Rays. He has his Immortal. We'll see if this strange composition of units can actually survive. I'm really curious. Zen is moving out across the map with his Stalkers, with his Blink Stalkers getting ready to dive in. With the amount of Immortals, with Overcharge, can he pull this off? Can Playa pull this defense off? We'll find out. Oh god. Zen has to be so careful with how he engages just because of these stasis wards. Like, if these stasis wards go off on like half the army, like that's it. Like, Playa defends easy. God, Zen has to be so careful with his army movement. He has to try and bait out these stasis wards if he even has an idea that they're there. And he does have an observer. He does see it. And he should be able to take it out. Meanwhile, he did take quite some time to really move forward. Ooh, does blink. Does take out a Phoenix. Also takes out the stasis. Now, does he have enough storage to one-shot? Oh, does deal some damage to the Oracle. Does waste some of that energy on the shield battery. Meanwhile, ooh, 2 Adepts do shade into the main base of Playa. And there's nothing here. There's no shield batteries. There's no warp gate, so he can't warp in any Stalkers to defend. He's forced to come back with his Sky units. And here come the Stalkers. He immediately blinks on top of the Immortals. 1 Immortal falls. The second Immortal should fall. The Overcharge is not enough to keep these Immortals alive. There are 4 Void Rays. They do use their prismatic alignment, but as soon as that alignment runs out, these Stalkers are going to dive back in. Meanwhile, those Adepts are still dealing more damage. 5 probes do fall. He forces all the Void Rays home to defend, and that means his natural base is exposed. Stalkers getting sniped. Shield battery gets sniped. Oh my god, there's just nothing to stop these Stalkers, and the Warp Prism can just keep warping them in. Zen is supply blocked right now. Unfortunately, he needs to lose a couple of Stalkers so he can keep warping in, and GG gets caught. Zen takes the game. Rightfully so. I don't know what Playa was going for. It was crazy. And apparently, they are now tied up in series 1-1. Wow. So apparently Playa had won the previous game number 1. Obviously, we just saw game number 2, and now we are going to be diving into game number 3. The ace match between these 2 players. Oh, as we dive straight in. Meanwhile, as an update, as I quickly check it, it looks like Rishi has ended his stream. I imagine he raided someone. Obviously, Rotterdam is with me, Zombie Grub, and Biomorph. I wonder who they are casting. I hope all the qualifying matches are being covered by someone. As Zombie Grub is casting Euritius, his qualifying match, and Biomorph is currently out of game. Ooh, I hope someone is able to catch Drunken Boy. Again, Drunken Boy versus Perfect Zero sounds insane. Just because Perfect Zero has been able to take down some pretty big names. Very surprising. Alright, here we go. Diving into the ace match between these two. PvP. America versus America. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the American Protoss. He's red. Some know him as Social Send, ? But he is Playa. Or maybe Playa, I don't know, not too sure. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Oxide, we have the other American Protoss. He is blue, he is Zen. No longer purple, unfortunately. And we'll see where this series takes us. Again, I question the army composition of Playa. Last game, going for Void Ray Immortal. It's cute, and I've seen it work against Terran. But in a PvP, we saw how it just fell apart to just Blink Stalkers. And Blinks, there's nothing special about Blink Stalkers. Like, it's pretty standard. It's pretty common. So yeah, questionable moves there coming out from Playa. We'll see if he switches things up. Hopefully he does. It's very possible that he did that in game number 1, and then Zen was able to adapt to it. Maybe he caught him off guard. Maybe he just wasn't really expecting the mass amount of Void Rays and Immortals, and he fell to it. But in game 2, he was able to respond really well and just pretty easily take down his opponent. But we'll see how things go. Once again, both players are opening up the same, in that Playa is going for that low ground wall, the natural wall, and Zen is going for some SimCity in the main base instead of going for it here at the ramp. Personally, I guess I kind of like it, especially if you're not confident in your ability to wall off and stop the shade from coming in, because you have to be on point with your reaction time. Like, if you're not confident with that, then sure, just set up like this instead and get a shield battery. It's definitely a good alternative. Meanwhile, the first Zealots of Playa does show up across the map. It looks like, once again, the Stalker will be here, and I mean, Zen was able to deal with this last time without losing a single probe. We'll see if he can do the same this time. Nope. He does pull the boys. Oh, nice micro there. Doesn't lose a single probe once again. Nice micro. Ooh, and Playa's being really annoying right now. Oh my god. He threw down a pylon at the natural and at the horizontal third, forcing Zen to expand at the triangular third. Man, imagine if he threw down a pylon here as well. God, that's gonna be so annoying. Meanwhile, of course, Playa's natural is being delayed by this pylon as well. Oh boy, and ooh, Zen mixing things up here. I thought he was going to play the same because I saw Blink was on the way, right? Blink had started, just like in the last game, except he delayed his natural base. I noticed that, you know, he's taking it a lot later than he really could have, but that's because he instead went for a Dark Shrine. So going for some DTs. And he may die. Let's go. The Stalkers and the Void Rays are going across the map. They do get scouted by Zen's probe. Ooh, and as soon as that happened, the Void Ray does turn around and go back home. Interesting. So because Playa is aware that his opponent knows he's coming, he does back off. He throws down a shield battery. He's being a little bit more defensive. This Phoenix has a lot of work to do. This Phoenix needs to scout that Dark Shrine. Otherwise, Playa could just lose the game. What do we have for anti-air? We have one Stalker. This one Stalker isn't enough to really deal with this Phoenix. The Phoenix could have just dove in, but he opted not to. He opted not to because he's meeting up with the rest of his army. Once again, pushing out across the map, and Zen, I worry for him. He only has one Stalker to defend. He's warping in 2 DTs. DTs do not shoot up. They reveal themselves to the Void Rays, and we are in a very weird place. The army is here, there's nothing to defend, there's only a single stalker, but the DTs are going across the map. Unfortunately, there was no proxy pylon, otherwise the DTs could have already been here, and because they got scouted, Zen is walling off. This is so sorry, Playa's walling off. This is not a good place to be for Zen. Zen, his overcharge just barely keeps his stalkers alive. Oh my god, I completely underestimated the power of that overcharge, and he takes down the Void Ray. Oh my god. Overcharge is insane. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, the DTs are trying to break in, but the Oracle does use Revelation, does reveal the first one. The second one, though, is here to take its place. Zen, he defends beautifully. I thought he was in trouble. I thought he was going to at least lose the natural, but mate, Overcharge is all you need apparently. Overcharge and 3 stalkers. 1 stalker for the longest time. Meanwhile, the DTs did make it across the map. Oh my god, a 3rd DT shows up. Oh, there's not enough energy for another Revelation. And it looks like the pylon will go down. Is there another wall? Is there another wall? Oh, the pylon does get cancelled. There is another wall. The DT has a long way to go. Does get revealed. Does get picked up, but here comes another DT. God, Zen is just unrelenting with this aggression. But here we go, finally, an observer was chronoed out. Playa does have detection, and he does hold at his natural. And now, after all that chaos, we have to take stock a little bit. You know, what has been happening here? Zen has the worker lead. He has had the natural base a little bit longer as well. Zen also has the tech advantage with Blink Stalkers. Playa has a Stargate. He has a couple of Void Rays, which are okay. He is getting a shield battery, which is definitely important. But of course, the shield battery can be bypassed if the Stalkers just blink straight into the main base. Once again, no Warp Gate. Playa wants to make this Robo Stargate style work. And the longer this game goes on, the better it is for Playa, I think. Earlier on in game number 2, Zen was able to hit a timing with Blink Stalkers and really shut down everything that Playa had. But if Playa is allowed to really get his macro cycle going and get a decent amount of Void Rays and Immortals, his army will be a threat. It won't be a meme so much anymore. But he needs time. Time that so far Zen is giving him. Zen, he's expanding, he's taking a 3rd base, he's working on his upgrades, just focusing on his macro, not really looking to be aggressive across the map. So this is kind of ideal for Playa. Oh boy. And okay. So I was concerned for Playa, but he actually is getting Warp Gate this game. I'm surprised. I'm genuinely surprised. And I'm glad. Thankfully, he is getting Warp Gate. Meanwhile, Zen is going across the map with his Blink Stalkers and a Warp Prism, looking to be aggressive once again. He does focus down one of the Void Rays. Ooh, but the Phoenixes do CC 2 other Stalkers. So they do trade a little bit. Zen forced back home. Fearful for his life. But he did trade well. Killing 2 Void Rays. Oh yeah, 1 Void Ray was killed earlier, to be fair. Now only 2 Void Rays remain, but there are 3 Immortals. Soon to be 4 Immortals. Like, the Immortal count is getting out of control. Zen needs to do something about it before that happens. Meanwhile, there's a shield battery, no overcharge yet, but the 3rd Nexus is about to finish up in a couple of seconds. Oh boy. Here come the Stalkers. What are they going to focus down? What are they going to pick off? They go for the shield battery. Shield battery gets focused down. Ooh, the Void Rays are forced to use their prismatic alignment. So it is being wasted. It is running out, and once it runs out, then it's go time for Zen. Does warp in another wave of Stalkers. Cannon about to finish up. Not a shield battery. Zen backs off. I kind of wanted him to keep going, but he sees that there isn't an opportunity here. It may not be worth it with 4 Immortals. He's looking for another angle, at least. And interestingly, Playa is getting a Dark Shrine of his own. God, but here we go. The Stalkers of Zen. Hey, they want in. Oh my god, Colossus is on the way. Okay. I see you, player. I see you. Meanwhile, Zen, he's expanding. He's taking his 4th base. His economy is just insane. Can he find a way in, though? Oh my god. There's no shield batteries. Oh, there may have been an opportunity there, but instead Zen does back off. Doesn't go for it. Oh, nice force fields. And goes for a recall. I thought he was going to force field and go for the 3rd base. I thought that would have been amazing, but I guess he does recall due to these DTs. They finally show themselves, and there is no detection here. He had to recall to make sure his observer was at home. And he will clean all of this up, but not before losing a decent amount of workers. Meanwhile, a couple of other DTs in here, warped in with that War Prism. And in the end, they both back off each other. They both bounce off each other, if you will. But again, I really worry for Zen. It's like the immortal count, mate. 5. There's 5 immortals. We got a Colossus. We got more Colossus on the way. Like, this is going to be a very terrifying army. But Zen, he knows that. And you know what? You know what's even more terrifying than immortals and Colossus? Disruptors, mate. Double Robo Disruptor production. I love it. I love it so much. The Immortals are basically going to be dead in the next engagement. Like, they cannot micro at all against these Disruptors. Like, they don't have Blink. Even if there was a Warp Prism, you can only pick up 2 Immortals at a time. It's going to be very awkward for players to really engage. Oh boy. And we'll see where this takes us. Again, Zen, to be fair, it makes sense that he's being a little bit more defensive right now. He needs that disruptor count to get higher. He needs to work on that count before he fights. Meanwhile, Playa is taking this opportunity to expand because his opponent is being so aggressive. And now both players, I think for the first time today, we're up to 4 bases. We haven't had a series go this long before. Not today, anyway. Not in this qualifier. These 2 NA players, they're odd ones. They're Protosses and they're going into the late game. Shook, mate. I'm disappointed a little bit. just a bit. But here we go. The Stalker Disruptor army is moving out across the map. It does get spotted by this pylon, so Playa can respond with his own army. Does maneuver around to his 3rd base. Ooh, waste an overcharge. A little bit premature. Little bit. Zen moving in once again. Come on, show me the disruptors. Mate, make it happen. Ooh, the first one gets picked off by the Phoenixes. Meanwhile, Zen was looking to maybe go for some multi-prong, but he actually backs up with everything. Boy, I do like the idea of trying to hit 2 bases at once. It does feel like Playa has like 1 main army and that's all he has really. So maybe he could have tried to pull them apart and like find a weak point, but so far he was unable to do so. Does chip away at the army. Oh, I love this. Look at the hallucination, looking to try and bait out a Phoenix. Oh, the disruptors do go off. Oh, get some decent connections. Another one gets off. Connects with the Archons. Not ideal. Archons do take a lot of damage. Oh my god. The disruptor was actually picked off before the Nova went off. So Playa trading relatively well. Zen is maxed out. Mate, you gotta make something happen here. Come on, you got a couple more disruptors. Oh god, they get shot off too soon. Not a single one lands. These Colossus are being left exposed. Playa, please, you gotta be careful. The Colossus is taking a lot of damage. Again, hallucinating disruptors. I just love it. Disruptor shots go off, but again, a little bit too soon. Don't connect with anything yet. Another 2 go off, and it looks like these ones will connect. They do connect with the Immortals. The Immortals taking a lot of damage, but they are still standing strong. Living up to their name. God, and Zen is being pushed back. The fourth base is killed. Sorry, fifth base is killed, not cancelled. And now Playa is getting a fifth of his own. But again, there's still a lot of power in these disruptors. Oh my god, they're so exposed. Please don't get picked up by the Phoenixes. The disruptors are really the backbone of Zen's army right now. He can't afford to lose them. No, please, puppy. Oh god. They get exposed. They move too far forward. The disruptor count gets reset. Now Playa, mate, he wants to fight. He wants to push in. No more disruptors, only Colossus and Archons. And we'll see if it's enough now. He has a disruptor of his own, but it does get picked off. Meanwhile, the Phoenixes are trying to focus on the Colossus, and they do get one of them. Oh my god, there are just so many Archons, but the kiting is on point here by Zen. The stutter stepping as the Archons do fall. He actually doesn't have any detection with his army. He does have a cannon here. And now finally, I was waiting for the moment for one of these to switch into Skytoss. We have a second Stargate on the way. We do not have a fleet beacon yet. We do need one to switch into Tempest or more Void Rays. Or even carriers. I imagine Tempest is going to be the play. Meanwhile, Playa ahead in supply. Oh, but enough time has passed where the disruptors have been remade. Come on, show me those juicy connections. Show them to me. Oh, two go off. They do whiff. They do not connect. Only one disruptor shot left. Oh god, two go off. Ooh, do connect with a couple of immortals. Playa's army was a little bit distracted, but again, the main army of Zen is a little bit out of position. It's not being supported by this stacked defense. Playa does back off though, he doesn't commit. And yeah, they're just kind of staring each other off right now. Like, oh god, I really wish Playa threw down a fleet beacon. There it is. Finally, it's on the way. It's a little bit late, unfortunately, but at least it is on the way. Bit of a Zealot run by. It's gonna get cleaned up by the cannons and the shield batteries. Oh, Zen trying to sneak up on Playa's army. Playa does see, does react. Phoenixes dive in. Oh god, they're looking to try and catch some more of those disruptors, but there's a lot, mate. There's what? 4, 6 disruptors? Huh. And actually, storms are landing as well. I don't know how useful storms are right now, but you know, they're there. Oh, 4 disruptor shots go off, not a single one of them lands. He's got 2 left. And Playa kind of outmaneuvers the army of Zen, surprisingly. He just... oh no, and now all the probes and the base goes down. Ay, 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 but maybe that was a trap. Zen... Never mind, recall, of course. How could I forget? Oh, Zen getting outplayed a little bit there. Kind of just left himself exposed and he lost the base. Very big loss there. I mean, sure, he'll be able to pick off a couple of units for free, essentially, but they paid for themselves. Oh my god, no detection! No, there's no detection here. There's no cannon. Ay, ay, ay. The DTs. The 18-minute DTs. He gets the Nexus. Not like this. At the same time, we got more DTs here on the right-hand side of the map. It looks like this Nexus will also go down. It's going to take far too long for the observers to respond. Zen is falling apart. There it is. The Nexus does fall. And now Zen is pushing across the map. He wants to fight the army. He wants to maybe try and end this. Playa, he's ready and waiting. Here we go. It's all about the disruptor shots. Show him to me. He does see the army. 4 get wasted. Mate, he's too trigger happy. You gotta keep them for later. One of them connects. He gets 1 immortal, but I think that's all the disruptor shots. Oh, God. You gotta be more careful with them, buddy. The army supply is still pretty close, though, and it looks like he may still win the fight without them. Disruptor shot does go off, does connect with two of the Colossus. And I believe the Colossus count is almost reset. Playa only has one Colossus left. Oh my god, the storms are actually landing. The storms are actually killing these Void Rays. Oh my god, more storms land. Ay, ay, ay. And even though Zen has lost a lot of bases, he's winning the main army fight, and at the end of the day, that is what matters. Continuing to push on forward. Oh, the disruptor shots do connect. Playa did not react in time. Oh god, his ground army is suffering so much. Another storm. Here come the reinforcements, a mass wave of stalkers, and I feel like there it is. Playa realizes that he's not going to win the head-on-head engagement. He cannot win against the army of Zen, so he goes to the base trade. And now Zen is on a timer. What does Zen do? Does he come back home and defend? Or does he keep on pushing forward? The problem with coming back home is that Playa can always recall. He can always recall it. There we go. He takes the base. Zen reacts. He's coming back home. How much damage can Zen do before the recall goes down? The base falls. Recall happens. The carrier gets left behind. Only the Void Rays escape. And what is the army looking like for Playa? 5 Void Rays. Let's quickly look at the units tab. Oh god, 8 Void Rays, 2 Disruptors. Oh my god, all the Immortals, no, they get caught off. They get caught out of position. Oh, there's so much free supply. There's so much momentum going in the way for Zen right now. But there are Disruptors waiting at the top of the ramp. Oh, show me your blinks. Oh my god, the Purification Novas finally connect beautifully for Zen. Still 3 Disruptors remaining. Oh. But what can 3 Disruptors really do here? There's far too much Stalkers, far too much Protoss. And once again, Playa just goes for the base trade. He ignores the army, he goes across the map. He knows he cannot beat this army at all. But what's important is that Zen can recall. He has a recall available to him. So if things get too dicey, he can always go back home. Meanwhile, it looks like this base to the bottom right will go down at the same time. We have like a weird cannon rush going on here. What? What is happening right now? Cannons are being thrown up there on the right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, the main army of Playa is continuing to find more and more damage. Ooh, but a recall was used. Storm gets thrown down. And now, Playa, he's at risk of being surrounded. Oh my god, Disruptor shots do go off, but he blinks aggressively on top of the army, and it looks like everything is surrounded. There's nothing left. The storms land. Playa, he fought hard. He fought well, but everything falls. GG gets called, and Zen will advance to the qualifying match. What a game. And I 100% agree, Finlantok in the chat. He's like, I can't believe that the most standard game today is a PvP, right? I did not see that coming. And Zen will advance on to that qualifying match to face his opponent, BioIce.